Hi, I'm Dave Shetlar. I'm the urban landscape entomologist here at The Ohio State University. I go by the nickname of the Bug Doc. Now today what we're going to try to do is dissect a grasshopper. Now the first thing that you need is an insect. Now I went out this morning and I got some fresh grasshoppers. There's several types here. If you can't find grasshoppers, or it may be the winter time or sometime that you can't get a grasshopper, you can actually order grasshoppers online. Now typically what they're going to sell you is one of these really big grasshoppers, which you call a lubber grasshopper. Now they'll be a little stiff because they're preserved, but you can still dissect them and get on the inside of them and take a look at their internal organs. Now some of the other tools that you're going to need a dissecting pan. Now the dissecting pan is really pretty simple. It's nothing more than a food cup that you can get at a local restaurant or a service bar or something like that. What I do is take some candle wax, just melt a little wax, put about a ½ inch of that wax in the bottom of the dish, let it completely solidify, and you'll be good to go. Now the other tools that you'll need are typically some very fine scissors. We also need some insect pins, and I've got a variety of insect pins. If you've been making an insect collection, you should have insect pins. Also, I like boiled water. Now, this is distilled water, but you can use plain old tap water, but the reason why we boil it is to get rid of the air that's in it, because if we pour that into our dish with the insect in there, there's all these little bubbles that form on everything and kind of hide what we're trying to see. All right, let's get started. We've got a grasshopper here. The first thing that we need to do with our grasshopper is we're going to take off all of the appendages. So we're going to remove the legs. So we can do the forelegs here, the middle legs, and the hind legs. Now the wings are in our way because we're going to go right down the mid-dorsal line in here. And so I've got to pull these wings out like this, and I'm going to snip them off. So now I just have the grasshopper body, and we're ready to go now. Now before I actually put it in the pan, I'm going to take my fine scissors. Since this is a little tiny grasshopper, I'm going to have to take my scissors and I'm going to slip it right up here behind the last abdominal segment, and I can get the edge of that, and I want to just stay right under the edge of that exoskeleton. Now when I get up here to the thorax, there's a lot of internal structures, and you'll hear this kind of crunch when we go through there. There it went, okay? Go all the way up to the head. I can see that I can open that up in there. And now we take some pins, grab a hold of both sides of the exoskeleton. We pull that over to the side. Now I've got it opened up pretty well. Wow, just looks like goo in there. Well, what happens when you open the insect up is all of the soft parts sort of get together. So that's why we're going to use our water. We're going to pour some water, just enough to cover our grasshopper up. So now we can see these structures in here. If you'll notice, there's a bunch of little fat body stuff in here. Looks like a whole bunch of gooey yellow stuff. I'm going to lift some of this out of here. And now we can see the guts. And the first thing that we're going to see, we can see the crop in here. Remember, the crop is where the food first goes with the grasshopper. Then there's a grinding organ that we call the proventriculus. That's the equivalent of a gizzard on a bird, and that's what sort of acts as an extra chewing organ. Now in the midgut, we can see here that there's these big lobe-like structures. Those are the gastric cecae. Those are places where the food kind of, sometimes when grasshoppers eat plant material, it's hard to digest, so that hard to digest food stays in those gastric cecae, and there are microbes that are in there that help break it apart. Then we can see, oh, look, there's these little tubule-like little structures right here. Those enter in right at the junction of the midgut with the hindgut. Those are called the malpighian tubules, and those malpighian tubules are the equivalent of your kidneys, the excretory organs. So let's take one last look. There's the crop, there's the gastric ceca, the midgut, then we can see the malpighian tubules and the hindgut. Now if we want to see more, we're going to have to lift that stuff out. So I'm going to grab a hold right here at the end, and I'm going to lift that up forward, and now we can see, if you'll notice that there's this little white line that's running right down the mid-ventral line, the very bottom of this. That's the nerve cord. And what we'll see is that there are these little enlargements periodically in each one of the segments. Those are the segmental ganglia. Hope you get a chance to go out, get yourself some grasshoppers, and not only take a look at the external anatomy of them, but go inside and look at their internal anatomy. Have fun.